Hi, how's everybody doing? Sarah here. Um, I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about today until I sat down and switched the video on. But I thought I might follow on from what I was talking about the other day about drums being our mirror and how making them can highlight our perhaps low points. It also highlights our strengths, and as you make more drums, it shows us where we're growing as well. So today I thought, well, how do we make use of that information once we know that's maybe where a problem lies or something? How do we utilize that information, that medicine? And really, it comes down to just being aware is a big part of the medicine. Once it's in your in your sight, you can see it, then it's much easier to deal with things, and you kind of have these aha moments. Okay, so that's why I've been feeling like that, or that's why something took place in my life. But we can then start to analyze how we change the beliefs that we might have for a reason, for something like self-worth, low self-esteem. Why do we believe that? Was it something somebody said? And it's all about indoctrination from a very young age, whether it's one's parents or a religion or schooling or teachers filling our heads full of nonsense sometimes. No, there's some very good teachers out there, but I do think the system is broken, and I think our children are being fed a lot of indoctrination these days. And when you start to look at things like mind control, and I'm sure you've all heard of MK Ultra, how the governments, the CIA in particular, have used mind control to manipulate young minds, certainly, and they're usually through trauma and the rest of it, that they're able to do this to compartmentalize, big word, trauma into one bit, and then they can give a signal through a sign or a word or a noise or something that will trigger something that they've implanted in somebody's mind. And it's quite scary, but we're all mind controlled to a certain extent. As I say, our parents unwittingly filled our heads full of their beliefs, which came from somebody else, and it's very difficult as we grow to distinguish what are our truth, what is our truth, and what is somebody else's mind controlled, not their truth, their mind controlled information, if you like. And the English language is a master at mind controlling us. The word spell, as I'm sure you know, means to make something happen that perhaps wasn't organically going to happen. So, witches have spell books, and witches can make things happen through spells, and so can the powers that be, can spellbind us into believing certain things about ourselves, through making people feel small when they're young, they're being told off for I don't know, ridiculous things. I was constantly being reprimanded in school for absolutely ludicrous rules and regulations, and which I kind of think turned me into the rebel. I mean, you know, how rebellious can you be at my age? But, you know, certainly when I was younger, I balked at authority, or at least questioned everything that was being told to me. And so the English language, we have, you know, these words that make us believe things that aren't our truth. And once we can see that, once we can, you know, through perhaps medicine tool making and specifically the drum, that we can see that in some way we've been living a lie to ourselves, you know, that we are not these small people that can't do anything, that feel inadequate, that need to pursue greatness because it was somebody else's ideal. Once we can see that, we can begin to remedy it. And we remedy it through the vibrations, through sound. You know, it kind of resets our cells. And again, acoustic vibrations. So the words that we speak, I mean, if you put your fingers on your voice box as you speak, you can hear the vibration. And vibration, as we know, is incredibly powerful. It's very healing. It can be, if it's the right vibration, and if it's the wrong vibration, it can be very damaging. So the music sometimes that has been promoted in the last 30 odd years, 40 years, has been at a certain resonance, which is actually quite damaging for the body. And if we speak words that are hurtful, not only hurtful to other people, but hurtful for us, the vibration that comes up through our mouths and is held within the water in our bodies as well. You know, that we're 80% water, 86% water, I think it is. So that the vibrations are being held in that 80% of our body as a detrimental thing. So if you're constantly telling yourself, oh, I'm not good enough, I don't feel as if I can do that, I haven't got the strength to do that, your body's actually holding that, and that will come out in some way, shape or form, as an illness probably. Or it can come out in, even when you're speaking untruths to other people, you're being not very nice to somebody, that vibration is actually being held in your body as well. It's not just that you're giving it out to other people. And there are things, you know, we've been mind controlled over the years to say things that put us in this low vibrational state. I mean, good morning, for example. I mean, I say it all the time still, even though I'm aware that it means morning as in morning, mourning as in sad for something, like you're mourning for somebody's death. So every morning you're saying good morning, meaning not have a good day or happy rising, as I'm trying to remember to say all the time now instead of good morning. The word morning means sadness. So actually you're wishing sadness on other people, you're wishing sadness on yourself. So that's bringing our vibration down. Making the drum and the process that we go through doing that helps us to realize where we have been telling ourselves the wrong story, and where we need to start thinking about the words that we actually use when we describe ourselves, to other people, that whatever we're saying, whatever coming out of our mouths, that vibration is being held in the water in our bodies that can damage or make good. So I just thought I'd drop that in today as a thought, that we need to change our language sometimes, that we need to be more aware of the words that we use to describe ourselves, to describe other people, to describe situations. I mean, things like, I can't cope, I'm not strong enough for this, is all being held in your body. And actually, Louise Hay has written several books on healing your body. I can't quite remember. Is it Healing Your Body? Where she talks about, different ailments are linked to different emotional values. So, for example, I get a little bit of sciatica, which is linked to fear of not being creative enough. And this sciatica has come on in the last couple of years since I've been looking after Mum. And I've very much noticed that I'm not able to spend the time being as creative as I normally would. And so there is a great deal of frustration in that. And that is being held in this sciatic nerve, which travels down my leg, which is also linked to not being able to take a step forward, or feeling that I can't take a step forward, meaning that I can't see any way out of this situation for the time being until something shifts. So that's just an example of how our bodies can hold this vibration of the stuff that we tell ourselves over and over again, unwittingly. I mean, we don't realize we're doing it. But this is where shamanic healing comes in, where, through the making of drums and other medicine tools, we begin to unpick that complex web of untruths that we tell ourselves, that we tell other people, and it begins to open our eyes to how we can adjust our speech, adjust the words that we use, and hence heal our bodies. So what I've done as far as my sciatica is concerned is that I'm consciously making time now to be more creative, even if it's just sitting in, especially at this time of year because it's winter, sitting and sewing in the evening. So I'm actually making something rather than not being creative, if you like. So I'm making that time in my day to feel as if I'm doing a little bit every day to keep my creativity going. On whether it's planning, workshops, or planning the next drum I might make, or doing a bit of lino printing, which I love doing, or a bit of painting, or making a medicine doll. It all helps me to work through that feeling of frustration that I'm not able to control my life, if you like. And that's where the sciatica is saying, is that I'm feeling as if I'm not being able to move forward. So I've already noticed in the last couple of months, once I realized that this is what I need to be doing in order to heal this particular irritating pain. So drop me a note in the comments if you can think of words or sentences that you find that are linked to spelling, and why they might be detrimental to us, and how we might be able to change those words that we use that are part of the larger mind control that we are now very much aware of what's been going on for the last, certainly 80 years, and how very cleverly we are being mind controlled. I mean, for example, the pandemic, that was a masterclass in mind control. Anyway, have a lovely day, and I'll speak to you all soon. Ciao for now.